Hi there, big boys, and welcome to my review of Shakes on a Plane. This is basically Overcooked, but simpler and not as good, to be honest, in pretty much every way. But it's alright, it's kind of relatively fun. My main problem with the game is that single player isn't very good, which I'll get to in a moment. So basically the game consists of going around, doing customers' orders, taking around their trash or whatever, and then making sure you don't get run over or killed or anything like that. Because you're on a plane, it's a pun, Shakes on a plane, it's very funny, I promise you, it's very, very funny. Yeah, there's not really much more to it, to be honest. I would say that more mechanics do get introduced, but to be honest, it got to a point where it was just too hard for single player people to be doing it. You basically need to have more than one player if you want to basically get anywhere, to be honest. I mean, the first few levels aren't too bad, but then it gets a bit ridiculous where you're having to, do so many things all at once, which you just realistically is just it's not really possible, which is a shame, honestly, because I was actually quite enjoying the game. It was quite fun. It's quite casual and simple, but it's quite fun. So what else is there? The art style is alright. It's kind of the same sort of art style that Overcooked goes for, the sort of not really low poly, but sort of cartoony 3D thing. It's quite fun. You can pick up people and throw them about, and pick up rubbish and put it in the bin. That's fun, I guess. Yeah, but it's a bit too simple that it feels a bit sort of repetitive and a bit like you don't really have that much sort of freedom to do fun stuff. It's just sort of doing whatever the customers say, and it tends to be go cook some chips, which is a bit weird. It's quite brutal. If you miss even one, you're probably going to lose at least 1 star, and you want to get all 3 stars, don't you? Come on. Yeah, the controls are a bit finicky as well. It doesn't really go in the exact sort of it doesn't feel very tight, as in, if you want to like change directions, you're going to be continuing to move in the other direction for a few more seconds, well, a few more frames really, which doesn't feel quite right, and that's a bit of a problem. You could argue that with a game like this it doesn't really matter too much because, it's meant to be sort of wacky and silly, but then you've got the fact that it's quite hard, which means that kind of gets in the way of you getting, if it stops you from beating the levels, then that's kind of annoying. There's 27 levels, by the way, which is a decent amount, I think. Each level is about 2 minutes long, but it's going to take you longer than 2 minutes to beat most of the levels at this rate, because they're, as I said, quite difficult. And there's no difficulty settings or anything like that as well. It's just unbalanced, honestly, and for single player, it just doesn't, you just can't do everything at once. This is not enough hands, which is why they give you a second character, which is a bit weird. It doesn't have AI, but you can swap to that character, which I don't see the point, because it's more effort to swap to that. I mean, I guess you could argue that you don't have to go walking backwards, if, backwards, forwards, and whatever. You can just swap to the other character and do whatever you need to do, which is true, to be fair, but I feel like it's so much effort to do that it's just not really worth it. You also get these abilities that you can use, but again, they're not that useful, but they're there, I suppose. Yeah, most levels are exactly the same as well. As I say, you do get more mechanics as you go in, but you're always going to be on a plane serving drinks to customers in levels that look almost exactly the same, which is, again, it's just a bit of a shame. Overcooked never had that problem. But yeah, it's not too bad. Honestly, I probably wouldn't recommend this game on the Switch specifically. Don't know why I said it like that. Because I just feel like the game, I mean, it runs fine and it looks fine. That's not the problem. The problem is you're going to want to play this as multiple players, and then the screen's going to be too small unless you dock it. So, just sort of like, at that point you might as well just, in my opinion, if you're going to dock it, you might as well just play it on a different device where it's going to look and run better. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's alright. It's not a bad game. I wouldn't not recommend it if you're a big fan of games like Overcooked and Moving Out and stuff like that, but be aware that it is a bit difficult and a bit repetitive, but it's not too bad. I had a bit of fun. So thanks for watching, big boys. See you some point in time, and bye.